I lost 90 pounds in 29 weeks, and this is going to be a video series of how I did that. This will probably take about 3 videos for me to get through, so I hope that you stick with me as I highlight the journey. And while I hope anyone can find inspiration and motivation from any of my videos, including this one, and any subsequent video that follows this, my focus for this particular video is primarily for men. Men are underrepresented or overly silent within the GLP-1 community. So, if you are a man and you are on the fence about starting this journey, I hope this gives you inspiration to start. Or if you have men in your life that can benefit from this information, please feel free to share. I hope they find inspiration in it. And I want to get something out the way right off the bat. Using the GLP-1 medication is not cheating. It's not taking the easy way out, not a shortcut. It doesn't challenge your manhood or your toughness. You can still go to the gym and lift the whole gym if that's what you want to do. But what these medications do is level the playing field of a metabolic dysfunction or disorder, hormonal imbalance that prevents you from losing weight. And you can take that from someone that's from just rub dirt on it era. I'm someone that played a gladiator sport, and I purposely had 70-90 car collisions a day by running full speed into other grown men that weighed 300 pounds and were 6'5" or 6'6" or more. And I did that for fun. There's nothing more manly than taking the necessary steps to improve your health and be here for your family and your loved ones. For me personally, I'm trying to be a grandparent. I'm trying to walk my daughter down the aisle if she chooses to get married one day. And to me, anything else that gets in the way of that is just nonsense. I'm not going to be shamed into not using these medications and putting my health first. So with that said, I want to preface this with the fact that I am not a medical provider. I am not providing medical advice. I do not have an MD after my name. I am just speaking about my own personal journey and things that work for me while on the journey. If you are interested in starting this journey, please speak to your own medical provider to ensure that you are getting the proper care for yourself, because your needs may be different than mine. So let me give you some background on how I went from this to this, and now this. For me personally, I didn't deal with obesity as a kid growing up. I was always active. I didn't have any medical conditions that would impair my metabolism. However, I did come from a family, and many of you can probably relate to this, that did not let you get up from the table until your plate was clean. For me, this often meant a belt was involved to ensure that everything on the plate was eaten. Overeating served me well as I got into sports and needed to put on muscle and weight to compete. However, it would become problematic and uncontrollable as I got older and as I stopped playing sports, as I became less active, as I became an office professional. I got into dad life, taking my kids here and there, and as I dealt with lingering injuries from college that made it hard for me to move or to sustain activity. Those injuries would lead to 9 surgeries to get active and or to lose weight. That included a laminectomy, an SI joint fusion, right hip impingement and labrum repair, left hip impingement and labrum repair, a bilateral hernia repair, a right hip replacement, and 3 bariatric surgeries. That included a lap band in 2009, a lap band removal in 2014, and a gastric sleeve in 2015. I failed on the lap band and the gastric sleeve because while they provided physical restriction, I still had a hormonal imbalance that caused what we now know to be food noise. This unregulated hormonal imbalance would cause food cravings, and for me, that centered around sugary foods, juices, sodas, cookies, cakes, candy bars, and all other types of candies. And that would cause me to overeat the physical restrictions that the lap band and the gastric sleeve provided me. Now, while I lost 84 pounds with the sleeve to get down to 274 pounds, and I was able to maintain in the mid 280s for about 3 or 4 years, once COVID hit, I lost complete control of the food noise. I started working from home for a year and a half. This put me just steps away from sweets that were in the pantry and gave me access to them on a 24/7 basis. That combined with the fact that I canceled my gym membership, which I didn't sign up for again until 2023, caused my weight to climb back up to 335 pounds. And I saw a picture of myself when I was on a cruise in February of 2023, and at that point I decided something needed to change. I didn't know what, so I started with a keto diet, and on that diet over a 6-month period I lost 39 pounds and got down to 296, and then everything stopped. The food noise came back with a vengeance. Family gatherings started back up, so I started eating uncontrollably, and the scale stopped moving, and frustration set in, and I didn't know how to handle that. Now, I've always been a mind over matter type of person, but this is one thing that I could not control because it's a biological component that I had no control over, and I didn't know that until recently. So my weight climbed back up 315. You can see here on this weight chart of my weigh-ins for the last 10 years. This right here is where I got the gastric sleeve. You can see me maintaining for the most part here. This right here is where COVID hit, and this is where I started keto. And of course, you can see this line here is where I started Zepbound. now. So at the end of 2023, I started looking into wegovy, and I couldn't get the prescription at the time because it was in back order. And about that same time, Zepbound got approved by the FDA, and I was able to start that in January of 2024. So prior to starting that medication, I did a workup, and my results were I had a blood pressure that was 145/94, which is stage 2 hypertension. My A1C was 5.7, which is pre-diabetic. My triglycerides were off the chart at 324. Normal should be less than 150. My HDL, which is the good cholesterol, was 39. It should be 40 or higher. My LDL was 154, should be less than 100. And my total cholesterol was 244, and that should be less than 200. Now, my weight was 315.1, which put my BMI at 40, and that is class 3 obesity, or what was formerly known as morbidly obese. I was additionally diagnosed with metabolic syndrome and insulin resistance. On top of that, I already had severe obstructive sleep apnea, and I had a CPAP pressure of 14. And sleep apnea brings with it its own risks, such as strokes, heart disease, and diabetes. But since starting the medication, my blood pressure right now is running about 105/65. I last had my blood work done in May. My A1C was down to 5.2, so out of the pre-diabetic range. My triglycerides were at 119, so normal. My good cholesterol, or HDL, was at 46, so that is normal as well. My LDL didn't change. However, my total cholesterol did change down to 224, so improvement there. And my weight currently is at 222, which puts my BMI at 28.5, so I'm out of the obese category and now in the overweight category. I won't have blood work done again until October, and I'm looking forward to seeing what improvements I have made since May. So that's it for now. I think this sets the table. My next video will be focusing on medication and exercising. My last video was focused on nutrition and supplementation. Hope to catch you on the next ones. I hope everyone has a great day. We'll talk to you later.